Sanctions against Sudan in a move that's been welcomed by Khartoum. Washington says that President Omar al-Bashir's government has made significant progress in recent years, hence it's revoking the two-decade embargo. Now this relates to the cessation of hostilities in conflict areas, improving humanitarian access in war-torn Darfur, and working with the U.S. on regional conflicts and the threat of terrorism. Khartoum's commitment to implement the UN Security Council resolutions on North Korea also seemed to have warmed up diplomatic relations with Washington. Now, for more on the recent lifting of the economic sanctions against Sudan, we are joined in our Pretoria studios by Sudan's Deputy Ambassador to South Africa, Ubazit Mohammed. A very good morning to you, Ambassador, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, we talked about this before, but I would like to get your immediate reaction following the lifting of sanctions. How do you and the people of Sudan feel about this?
The government of Sudan has welcomed this decision to lift the sanctions on Sudan, which were placed for more than 20 years. And this is a very important development in the bilateral relations between Sudan and the United States of America. It is a product of a constructive dialogue, transparent dialogue between the two countries that lasts for months on the 5 tracks. And it was a result-oriented dialogue, and we welcome this development. And Sudan will continue cooperation with the United States of America to remove the Sudan also from the list of the countries that sponsor terrorism.
Why has Sudan not been lifted from the list of countries that are still sponsoring terrorism?
That is regrettable and inconsistent with the recognition and widely acknowledgement of the Sudan efforts in combating terrorism regionally and internationally. We have a continued cooperation with the United States on combating terrorism. And in the light of this, it was inconsistent to have the Sudan in the list of the countries that sponsor terrorism. This is a little bit of paradox. And we will continue dialogue with the United States to remove Sudan from that list. And with the same spirit of cooperation, we hope that in the coming decision will be to lift Sudan from the countries that sponsor terrorism.
Now, the lifting of sanctions, what does it mean for Sudan from an economic and investment perspective?
You know, Sudan is a very rich country, is endowed with natural and mineral resources. We have a tremendous natural and mineral resources in Sudan in terms of agriculture, mining, and this will help definitely to the improvement of the Sudanese economy, and will help also in diversify the economy of Sudan. And in this regard, I call on all the major South African companies to come to Sudan to invest, because we have potential areas of investment in agriculture, food processing, animal production. You know, we have the Red Sea and we have the Port Sudan on the Red Sea. So this port can link the African landlocked countries, and they can have access to the Red Sea and international markets, Mediterranean markets and European markets through the our seaport in Port Sudan. So Sudan have tremendous potentials, and this would make Sudan one of the most promising countries in Africa that can provide food for the region. And we have a lot of minerals. We have gold, we have iron, we have copper, uranium, just to mention, few to mention. So Sudan will be one of the leading countries in Africa after lifting of these sanctions, because this will contribute to the improvement and of the economy of the Sudan.
Now, last month, Sudan hosted an intelligence and security conference where we heard that the African countries, some of the African countries here on the continent, they will be working together to fight terrorism. How do you feel about this, and why is there so much investing in this project, considering that you're also building an intelligence college?
Yes, last month Sudan hosted the Committee of Intelligence and Security Services in Africa, CISA, and this is an annual gathering bringing together chiefs and heads of security agents in Africa to discuss the issues of common concern to Africa. And you know that Africa has so many challenges in terms of terrorism, and Sudan is keen on coordinating the efforts of the African continent on this. And coming to your question, because you know terrorism is not an individual concern of one country, it is a global concern that requires a coordinated response, and from that comes that there must be sharing of information on terrorism, because this is, as I said, is a global concern and also is a continental concern. So Sudan has a leading role in the region, regionally and internationally, in combating terrorism. For this reason, we need to share information, we need to cooperate together to thwart and to combat these challenges facing the continent.
Deputy Ambassador, thank you so much and congratulations on the lifting of the sanctions for Sudan.